So today, we're diving into the story of Armenia, a nation with one of the oldest, most resilient civilizations in the world. I mean, this is a story all about unwavering faith, incredible survival, and the history that just refuses to be forgotten. And it all really boils down to this one big question, right? How on earth does a civilization, against all the odds, survive for more than 3,000 years? Well, Armenia's story, it holds some pretty powerful answers. Okay, so to really get a handle on Armenia, you've got to start with its geography. It's often called an eternal crossroads, and for a very good reason. Its location has pretty much defined its destiny from the very beginning. Armenia is in this really strategic, but also kind of vulnerable spot. It's landlocked in the South Caucasus, sitting right where Eastern Europe and Western Asia smash into each other. And just to give you a sense of its ancient roots, get this. Its capital, Yerevan, is actually older than Rome. You know, when you're at a crossroads like that, it means you're pretty much always in the path of giants. For thousands of years, Armenia's entire history has been a story of dealing with and often fighting against massive empires. The Romans, the Persians, the Ottomans, the Russians, they all left their mark. And that constant pressure is absolutely key to understanding the Armenian identity. And all that constant pressure from surrounding empires, well, that's what really brings us to the two foundational pillars of Armenian identity. These are the events that forged the nation's soul, in both faith and in fire. 301 AD. Now, that date might not ring a bell for a lot of people, but for Armenia, and honestly, for world history, it is just huge. Because back in 301, Armenia did something incredible. It became the very first nation on the entire planet to officially adopt Christianity as its state religion. And this wasn't just some political move, it became the absolute bedrock of Armenian culture, their art, and their national life. It was a source of unity that's given them resilience for centuries. And you can see this deep faith perfectly symbolized in the majestic Mount Ararat. For Armenians, it's so much more than a mountain. It's a sacred icon of who they are, of their entire heritage. But here's the really poignant part. This beloved national symbol now lies just across the border, inside modern-day Turkey. All right, now for that second pillar, the one forged in fire. This date, 1915, it marks one of the absolute darkest chapters in their history. See, in 1915, during the Armenian genocide, over 1 million Armenians perished under the Ottoman Empire. That profound trauma and just the collective memory of that loss is a defining element of the modern Armenian identity and its global diaspora today. So you have to wonder, right? How does a nation carry all of that heavy history forward? Well, they do it through this incredibly vibrant and living culture, a culture of remembrance that actively works to keep its story alive. And you see this identity literally everywhere. You hear it in the sound of their unique language, which is in its very own branch of the Indo-European family. You feel it in the rhythm of their music, you taste it in their incredible cuisine and their ancient winemaking traditions. Every single one is a thread in this rich cultural tapestry. And holding all of that culture together, it really comes down to 3 core values: family, faith, and remembrance. These aren't just words. They're the glue that holds Armenian society together, both at home and all around the world. So all of this history, it brings us right to the Armenia of today, a country that's navigating its ancient past while facing a really complex present. It's a land of stunning beauty, but also modern challenges. And you really do see this contrast everywhere you look. On one hand, you've got these timeless natural treasures, breathtaking mountain landscapes, ancient monasteries that look like they're carved right out of the cliffs, and the beautiful Lake Sevan. But on the other hand, you've got the tough modern realities, complex regional conflicts, especially the long and painful dispute over the Nagorno-Karabakh region. And alongside economic struggles, there's also incredible innovation, like a totally booming IT sector. So after all that, what's the takeaway? What's the deeper meaning behind Armenia's incredible story of survival? I think it offers a really powerful lesson for all of us. It really all boils down to this one idea. Survival is not just about power, but about identity. Armenia's history shows that having the biggest army or the strongest economy isn't the only thing that matters for endurance. The real strength for them has been preserving their core identity, their unique culture, their deep-rooted faith, and their distinct voice in the world. That's how this story has been kept alive through centuries of just immense struggle. And that brings us full circle, right back to a question. When you look at Armenia, you see a story that has outlasted entire empires, all because it was passed down through language, food, faith, and memory. So it really makes you think, in the end, what is it that truly makes a story immortal?